Activated. Okay, so we're going to start with unit form. These two are not decimals. Well, actually, there's 3 that are not decimals. See that? So 600ths divided by 2 would be what? 3 what? Hundredths. So go ahead and write it down. And you need to write it, the whole thing, in word form. Try and get it on the line better than I did. 6/10 divided by 2?
3/10.
3/10. Okay. 6/1 divided by 2? 3/1. And 6/10 divided by 2?
3/10.
3/10. Okay? So the only thing different is how you write it in standard form. So let's take a look at these at the bottom. So I'm going to do 6/10 divided by 2 in decimal form. So 6/10, how do I write it?
0.6.
And then the answer is 3/10. 0.3. Now I think unit form before standard form helps kids understand better. So 600ths divided by 2?
300.
Okay, so we're going to write it, and we can use the abbreviation. I have your paper. And to write 600ths, remind me how I do that.
0.06.
So you kind of see what we're doing?
Yeah.
You notice anything about this? Does my place value change? No, if I start with bananas, I end with bananas. Remember that?
Yeah.
In multiplication, so it's the same in division. It only works if you're dividing by a whole number. If this is not a whole number, if your divisor is not a whole number, then this doesn't work. Your place value is going to change. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to pause it. I want you to try the rest of those. Okay, so why don't we pull sticks? The next one, Mata E, tell me what 8,000ths divided by 2 is. 4,000. This is not decimal place value. So 8,000ths divided by 2 equals 4,000. Okay, next one. Help me out, Brandon. 8 1s divided by 2 equals 4 1s. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. How are we doing? Jocelyn, help me with the next one. 8/10 divided by 2.
14.
Good. Okay, so how do I write 8/10? 0.8, then 0.4. Good. And the hundredths. Tanya. 800ths divided by 2. Is there a THS on that word? Yes. So 800ths, boys and girls, 0.08. 0.04. Okay, that's a little review of decimal place value and what it's going to look like when we divide. If we divide by a whole number, our place value will stay the same. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. We're not going to do that. Let's do a little review. Let's just do the first one, okay? Little review of Monday's lesson. So we've got 208 divided by 37. Okay, now skip counting is not going to be optional in this lesson. So I want everyone to get that in their mind, okay? You're going to have to round first and then write your multiples. So 37 rounds to what? 40. So we will skip count by 4s, and we only have to go to probably 20 or 24, right? Okay. So that part right there is required by me. Got it? Okay. Because I don't want you to struggle through this lesson today. The factors beside are optional. You want to count them every time you can, or if you know them. Okay? All right, so which number, Eduardo, is closest to 208 without going over? No, there's one closer. 200. Okay, so 200 divided by 40 equals what? 5. So what will we try in the guess and check section? 5 times 37. But put the 37 on top. Should we try it and just subtract and see what we get?
Yeah.
Okay, so what number goes on top? The 5. And what number goes below? I think we're going to be okay. So this is regrouping.
Wait.
Okay. So is 23 less than 37? Okay. My next step. So you kind of have this procedure down, don't you? Okay. Then it's time to kick it up a notch. Okay, 208 is the dividend I started with. All right, so how are we doing? Fist to 5 on how to do this. You good? Feel like it's a 5? I feel like it is too. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Let's do this application problem and then we'll start the lesson. Zenon is his name. Zenon. Zenon's baby sister weighed 132 ounces at birth. How much did his sister weigh in pounds and ounces? Okay, so looks to me like we're going to have to go from ounces to pounds, right? And remind me how I set that up.
Okay, so 132 ounces. Equals.
Okay, equals. All right, so let's get that set up. Now, I've got something to say. Which one's larger, ounces or pounds?
Ounces. Pounds.
Pounds. So if I'm starting with the smallest measurement, do you remember what I do? I divide. Okay, so we're going to, because this is a customary measurement system and not metric system, we're going to write a fraction. Okay? All right, so let's see. This, how am I doing? Are you there? So we'll go ounces, pounds. I like to put a period beside the B so people don't think it's a 6. That's just how I keep it straight in my head. So we're going to start with how many ounces? 1 ounce. 1 ounce is how much of a pound? 1/16. Remember? 1/16. So this is 132. 132. Oop, I need 4, don't I?
Yep. You have to divide.
Okay, so 132/16 means the same thing as 132 divided by 16. Can I do that in my head? No. How am I going to solve it?
To the side with the division.
Yes. Okay, now I want to talk through this real quick. Can I make 16 groups out of 1? No. Can I make 16 groups out of 13? No, but almost, right? Do you want to try and skip count by 16s or just do 15s? Let's just do 15s. Okay. And we don't have to go very far, do we? Well, maybe. Remember how to count by 15s? Is it etched in your mind? we good? Someone tell me. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to try an 8? We round it down, or do you want to try a 7? Try an 8? That's quite a ways away from 132. Let's try an 8. So 16 times 8. Did that work? Did it? Is 128 less than 132, Valerie? Yes, so it works. Okay. And it's pretty close, isn't it? Now when you subtract, there's regrouping. Now, this is where it gets complicated. Looks like she weighed 8 pounds. Is that a normal weight for a baby?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, usually 10 through 8. My brother was like 7 pounds.
If I check this, I forgot to check it, didn't I?
Yep.
I felt like there was something I was missing. Did I do it right?
Yes.
Okay, so there is using what we've learned in math to answer a real world problem. Okay? I like this problem. Let's take a look at the lesson for today. This is where it's going to get a little more challenging. Okay? And there's going to be more guess and check. I think there's only 3 problems, or are there 4? Look at the back. Just 3. Okay. All right. So we're going to go slow because I want to make sure you understand it. First step is what?
Set up the problem.
Okay. Set up the problem. How do I say that problem?
590 divided by 17.
Okay. What will I round 17 to? 20. Okay, I'm going to start pulling sticks. So I'm going to skip count by 20s. But before I go all the way to 590, I need to stop and look at some things. Because does anybody want to skip count by 20s to 590? No. No, that's going to be a waste of time. So put your pencils down and look over here. This is serious stuff, okay? All right, so can I make 17 groups out of 5?
No.
No. Can I make 17 groups out of 59?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I only have to skip count to 59. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So it's going to be 20, 40, 60. Go ahead and do that. We're actually going to estimate twice.
What?
It's okay. So I've got to find the number closest to 59. Now, I don't know if you remember this or not, but I call it chunking. Okay? And it's kind of like when I read, I chunk my longer words up. Well, when I divide, I chunk my longer numbers up. Okay? What? Okay, all right. Did you put the box around it in
No.
4th grade?
Oh,
No, they did, but you didn't. Okay. So if you see me chunking it like that, that's just a visual to let you know I'm going to have to bring my 0 down later. Okay? So this is where does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers really comes in. But we're not changing our strategy. So which number is closest to 59?
40.
What?
40.
Are you sure you don't want to try 60?
60. I just heard 60.
Well, since we rounded it up, is it okay?
Yes.
You want to try 60? Okay.
Yes. Try it.
Try it. It's just a starting point, right? Okay, so I'm going to pull a stick here. Brianna, what number do I take times what number over here? 17 times 3. Well, that worked, didn't it? I forgot to write these factors. Okay, so now, Jennifer, where do I write the 3? Where do I write the 51? Okay, and you have to line it up. So this is where some of you, not mentioning any names, George. I'm just teasing you. Okay, some of you, if you struggle with lining up digits, we already have a strategy for that, don't we?
Lines and pencils.
Turn your notebook paper sideways and you've got columns, okay? And that's there for anyone who wants to use it.
That's what you made us do, and we had a sub.
Okay, so 9 minus 1
8.
is 8 less than 17.
Yes.
Okay, then I bring down my 0.
We can just like.
Okay, so what should I do?
Just
I have to keep going, don't I? 2, 4, 6, 8.
So 4.
Perfect.
Okay, so 4 times what?
17.
Okay, over here in the guess and
Oh,
check.
You have to do 4 times.
Yeah, don't let that 80 distract you. You think you can fit another?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. So 17 times 5. Uh-oh.
That goes over.
Will that work?
No.
No. So what's the best one?
4.
68. I'm crossing both of those off. This is the problem that I'm going to use when I check it. So that's why I put X's on the other two. So where does the 4 go now? On top of the number I brought down. Good. On top of the 0. What goes below the 80? Valerie. No, Valeria. What goes below the 80? 68. There's regrouping. Is 12 less than 17?
Yeah.
Okay. Now your highlighter. Highlight the 12. Add it to what?
68.
And we'll probably get 80. That's not the number I started with.
So you need to add 80 to 51.
I think we better highlight it all. Oh, sigh. What do I do here? 34 times 17. Whoops. Highlighter. 34 times 17. Why'd I put the 17 on the bottom?
It's smaller.
It's smaller. And I'm multiplying, so it doesn't matter if they're both 2 digits, does it? By the way, on your little 15-minute test, I was very impressed. Most of the kids put the number with the 0 in the middle on the bottom. You're so smart. So now multiply this out. Don't forget X's and O's. And we still have to add our remainder, don't we? I'm out of room.
See?
I'm just dragging it.
Okay, is that the dividend I started with? 590.
590.
Yep. Okay. All right, so that's the whole problem. The only thing that's different, anybody know? The only thing that's different from,
We do so many. Well, exact because the chunky.
well, the chunking's different,
And
Yeah.
bigger.
and the bringing down.
Yeah.
We have to bring down today, okay?
Because you have
And-
enough.
All right, so, and our checking is a little different too, isn't it? All right, so let's look at the next one. So 887 divided by 27. Now here's what I don't want, boys and girls. I don't want you writing your guess and check on scratch paper and then not turning your scratch paper in, okay? If you run out of room and you have to guess and check on scratch paper, then please staple it to your assignment, okay? Another thing, I don't want you erasing your guess and check. There's a couple reasons. One of them, we might bring down a number that we need one of those problems for. Another one is when I try and help you figure out where your mistake is, I need to be able to see your guess and check. Okay? All right, so what will I round 27 to? 30. Now, let's take a look at it because I don't want to go to 887, do you? Okay, can I make 27 groups out of 8? Out of 8? No. What about 88? Okay, so if chunking helps you, do it. I'm doing it with a different color just because it's fun. Okay, so skip counting by what? 3s. And I just have to go past 88. So 30, 60, 90. What do you think? Okay. Now don't circle the 90. Okay? You want to try the 3?
No. I mean, yes. Yes. Why did I say that?
Let's try the 3 because we rounded up. So let's give it a try. So what number? I'm going to pull a stick because I want to make sure you guys know. Ashlyn, what number am I taking times 3? 27. Good. That's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, so Xavier, where do I write this 3 now? Good. Is that X really going to come in handy for us? It is. Okay, and the 81 has to be below the 88. You can't put it below the 7 because we're going to draw an arrow there. Everybody with me? Okay, check. Is 7 less than 27? So bring down the 7. Well, I know a 3 is not going to work because that would be 81 and that's too big. So what should I try? A 2. So what number times 2? Christopher?
27.
Awesome. Okay, so 54. So the 2 goes above. Good. And the 54, and we're subtracting. It's going to be close, isn't it?
Do we cross both of them?
Yes. So right now, you can or you don't have to because we know we have to write a new problem. Right now, I'm going to check, is 23 less than 27?
Yes.
Okay,
Barely.
barely. 5, right? 4. 4. So go ahead and highlight in your triangle today.
Oh, yeah.
All right? Now I got a decision to make. Do I want the 32 on the bottom or the 27 on the bottom? I don't think it makes much difference.
32.
What do you think?
It would be easier if the 27 was on the bottom.
Yeah.
Just to.
The 32 would be easy.
Well, it's up to you. I'm gonna put the 32 on the bottom. So I'm gonna take 27, and you can do it whatever way you want. 27 times 32. Now, if this were a 3-digit quotient, I wouldn't have a choice, would I? It would have to go on the top. Don't forget X's and O's.
Wait a minute.
Do these problems seem familiar to you?
Oh, I
Wonder why they're so familiar.
You just put the bottom 2 numbers together and then multiplied it by 20.
got my answer.
Okay, so I want you to look at the 54 and the 810. Where are they in your division problem?
54 is right under the 7.
You don't have to draw an arrow, but I'm pointing it out. Where's the 810?
That's 81.
It's not. It's 81 hundredths, which is the same thing as 810. Because is this the ones place right here?
Yeah. 'cause
Would
it's
that
just-
be a 0? Yeah, it would. Okay. So I see partial products in my division problem. Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Now what do I do? Add my remainder. So these problems are going to take a little longer. They're not much harder though. You think they are? Maybe a little. You don't have to draw those arrows. I was just pointing it out. So here's what you need to know. If you put your divisor on top, when you multiply, are you listening? Then you're going to get these partial products that match up with your problem. It's not always going to work to put the divisor on top, but if I put my 27 on top of my quotient, so this is my divisor, right? This is my quotient. This is my remainder.
You just get the same answer.
It's going to be easier multiplication because you've already done it. We did it up here. See that? Okay, another problem.
Oh my gosh, that was a lot of work.
839, that's just the way long division is. That's why on your 15-minute test that your math group teachers gave you, that's why some of you were struggling because we hadn't got to this chunking portion of the division lessons yet. Well, who are you? Who's group? Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get one for a while. Okay, so can I make 8 groups or 41 groups out of 8?
Yes.
Not 8. What about 83?
Yes.
Okay, so that's where I'm going to chunk it.
Yeah, right.
And what will I round my divisor to?
80 or 2.
You're close.
Oh,
40.
Oh, you mean that?
So I'm going to count by 40s. So get that much done. We might have to add to it if we bring down a 9. We'll see.
Yeah, because I thought she was
All right. So what number am I going to use? Probably the 80? So what will I try? Eduardo, what am I going to try in my guess and check? Awesome. So 41 times 2. Some of you can do that in your heads. Does that work? Where do I write my 2?
It barely.
It has to be above the 3. And 82 below. Okay, is 1 less than 41? So bring down your 9. Uh-oh. This was another problem that we encountered and the kids didn't know what to do. You have to. So if you bring down a number and it's still not as large as your divisor, we can't divide, can we? So it has to be a 0. And what's my remainder? 19. So what do I highlight here?
41, 20,
Is 19 less than 41? So we're good. Okay, so I'm going to take my divisor times my quotient. You want to do 41 times 20 and add a 0 to the end? Okay, it's already done. Okay, plus 19. Does everyone see what I did? I just changed this to a 20, kind of in my head, and I just added a 0 to the end. Okay. So 839, that one was pretty simple, wasn't it? Okay. Is that the last problem?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.